Hello everybody, and today we are taking a look at two Black Series Mandalorians. Now, I'm putting these together because they kind of got similar parts. They came out at the same time, and you know, Mandalorian Grogu's coming out, so we're gonna get some Mando vibes going. Now, we have the Durasteel Pagodon, however you say that word, Mando. I love this look for Mando, so I'm really excited for this figure. But the meat and potatoes of this video is the Mandalorian and Grogu. Load of extra parts, loads of things I'm already liking the look of inside these boxes. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this bad boy. Ah! Ah! So on the back, we've got your legalese, we've got all your details and little gubbins and explainies, but also your little art details, which I want to talk about because they've done the helmets a little bit differently. He's kind of got a wider T-visor here, which is really interesting. It looks like some of the Halloween masks. It looks wider, it looks more youthful, whereas this one looks more canonical, and you've got little Grogu right there, and it's so cute. But this is, don't get me wrong, I love how both of these look, but that looks strange to me. Are we like, is it just me? Is it just shadow casting on the T-visor? Is that like visor huge? Like, there is a difference there. Yeah, I'm not going completely crazy, but yeah, if you want to read any of this, pause, feel free. Your boy can't read, so we're just gonna skip past that part. So with any figure review, you've got to be really important to keep the boxes nice and safe, because you reselling value and all that fun stuff. So we are gonna get these out the box very safely. Now, the first thing you want to do is, can you see these tabs at the bottom here? These are perfect for easy removal. So what you do is you just you make them go. Is this upsetting anybody yet? Is this upsetting anybody yet? But yeah, see, it's a nice little pull down tab, which means you can easily remove the figures out the box and just easily. Now you can display these in a nice way, or you can move them away for easier storage. Yeah.
It's your turn next.
If you're not as psychotic as me, they have a little pull tab there though, if you care about boxes and stuff, but we don't do that here. Now, freshly out of the box, I've put all of his gubbins away, but as you can see, he comes with one hand. He has a vibro blade, he has his blaster rifle, but funnily enough, that's actually it. Now, in the first appearance of Mando, he has his amber phase rifle, which is honestly such an iconic part of his silhouette, and honestly it's probably my favourite accessory that a Mando ever comes with. And as you can see here, his back is accessible for a jetpack, and this little gubbin here is for an amber phase rifle. So on the new body here, they've made it so he can wear one, but for some reason he doesn't come with one, which is honestly very confusing indeed. But getting him out the box, I am loving the proportions of this body. I am loving how this body moves. It's very smooth, very fluid. The colours are stunning. I would say it's a bit harsh on the weathering in some places, and then smooth in others. So like you can see here, there's a lot of silvery goodness here, but then here there's nothing, but that's because you cover it up. But also, these figures now come with floppy drape capes, which I will show later when I do my comparisons, that back in the day I was buying a load of custom capes for them, which honestly people still will now, and I'm going to swap them out and see how they look. But I do love how this figure looks so far. So let's break them down a bit. Yeah! So, getting a little closer look, we can see they've done some slight weathering on the helmussy of the figure, and it's looking quite nice. What I've noticed is on some other toy review channels like the Fwoosh, I think he goes by Robo, don't know now, I could be wrong, I'm an old man, and other channels, that if you buy them online, some of the painting is like misprinted and like it's raised above the helmet. Now I'm gonna take them off camera, I'm gonna try and have a look. I think mine's pretty decent. There might be some going off skewed here, but to be perfectly honest, I'm quite happy with that. But I will say, on this new figure, tell you what, we're already going to get to comparisons. There is a lot more paint on certain parts of this Mando than there is on the new one. So with new retooling and new body, you're missing out on some new paint. It's like his braces look a little bit more dull because they're just a casted piece of plastic. They're not painted over the top. Which, I mean, I've got some silver paint. I'll probably slap a load on it just to add to that vibe. But it's something to keep aware of. But I will admit, I am loving how this figure looks. I know I've already said that. Now, the painting here is quite clean. But I love the new helmet sculpt. The new versions we've been getting, I'm loving a lot more. The original Mandos, they looked a little... they're gonna look a little wonky, I'll be completely honest. But they're getting better and better. And this screams the silhouette of Din a lot more. And it's looking really fun. So yeah! Although I absolutely adore that we are finally getting like extra hands with Black Series figures, the fact that we only get 3 accessories with a full figure at a full price is diabolical. This figure should be coming with an ambient phase rifle. It's quite literally the most he uses it in the show is when he has this look. And for a V2 that people already have because this is such a popular figure, it's unacceptable. Old man getting annoyed at toy companies for not giving me more toy things. Diabolical. But maybe it just means we'll get more down the road, and maybe we'll get some Mudhorn Mando, we'll get some more stuff happening. But that's me living off copium. But the accessories themselves, they look stunning. There's wood grain texture on the actual blaster rifle. I've forgotten the name of this blaster. I am so sorry, guys. The tism isn't tisming today. I do apologize. But the actual texture of the blaster is stunning. There's like a pearlescent sheen on the metal parts, and there's like wood grain sculpted into the plastic for the handle, which I love. The vibro blade is so much more detailed. It's not just a knife, it's actually got the parts that make it go, which I really love. And it's such a cool accessory. Most people are just going to keep this in his shin, which is where it now just stays. But like the fact you get a hand now so he can hold it, because some of the other Mandos, when they give him a vibro blade, he can't hold it. This is perfectly designed for it. I love that. Give me more of this. Give me more of this, and just give me more. Now, once you pop the hand on, it looks stunning, and I've put the vibro blade in. It looks great. I will admit, though, it is a super tight fit. Hey, yo. So if you are gonna pop the hand off and put it back on, I'd probably recommend a heat gun. Don't just brute force it like I did. You're gonna damage joints, you're gonna break stuff over time. I usually break stuff all the time, so keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But once it's actually in there, the hand as it's actually designed for it makes it so much more fun. The fact he can actually use his accessories, his very limited accessories, it just makes it just gives you some options. And also, when you're a toy photographer like I am, the fact he can actually hold the things he's using is great. And if you get other figures that have other accessories, it means he can hold other stuff. So like he can hold his bounty puck thingy, the targety thingy, because some figures have those. Mix and match, all that fun stuff. And as both hands have trigger finger hands, makes it very easy to have display options. But speaking of display options, where's his phase rifle? He is supposed, like, this is how he looks. This is a part of his silhouette. This is a part of his figure. Why is it not there? It comes with like literally every other Mando figure, even his Beskar ones, when he doesn't even use it when he wears his Beskar 90% of the time. So where is it? But no, it comes with his original version. I don't understand. It pegs into his hand. It pegs into his body. He can. Yeah, I'm confused. I'm gonna look through the. No, his packaging doesn't have it. I don't understand. Why is it not there? It's perplexing. It's purely perplexing. They give it to every single Mandalorian figure, even like the credit collection Mandos, but not this one. So we go forward a few steps and then we go back a few steps. Hasbro, what? I don't understand. I'm completely perplexed. Like, clearly it's such a good fit. It fits the silhouette perfectly and it fits the figure perfectly. I'm having zero issues with it popping out because they use the same peg ports. So why? But I don't. It confuses me. But we probably will get a V2 of this thing with extra things and different paint. Hasbro. Just Hasbro. Now here is a little quick comparison between the V1 and the V2. Now you have the new one on the left here and the OG on the right. This is the first version that they ever released of him when Mandalorian Season 1 came out. But I will say I have a Mudhorn Customs wired cape on this one. And then on the one I'm going to show later in the video, I have a Mudhorn Customs drape cape on that one. Loads of stuff. Anyway, there is different paint on them all. There's different body parts. There's like different molds, but I think the bodies are the same, or at least some parts of the actual like chest piece here is the same. But it's they are slightly different shades. I will say there's more weathering on the helmet. I kind of prefer the rustier helmet here, not in terms of sculpt, but in terms of like the actual color they went for. They've almost went for like a sandy cream color that kind of matches the rest of the flight suit, which kind of looks a bit bizarre. It almost looks like a part of the paint scheme, which I know isn't. Basically, the weathering is a bizarre color that matches with the rest of the suit, which kind of makes sense in terms of saving paint when you're actually making a figure, but at the same time it homogenizes the figure in a way that confuses me a little. Saying that though, I kind of prefer the new figure in terms of like, it's a lot cleaner by the looks of things, but I don't hate it. It feels more, I just prefer the sculpt, to be perfectly honest. It looks more natural to me. It doesn't, especially the helmet. The helmet sculpt basically is the soul of the figure, and the helmet is just, mwah, I love the new helmet. I will say the weathering looks so much more natural on the older figure. The silver dry brushing kind of goes above the scratches and dents of the actual armor plating, whereas on the new figure it's just blotched in there, so it's a lot more blotchy, the weathering, whereas it looks a little bit more spread out on the older figure, which gives it a more worn look and not just like painted on damage. And for a $25 figure, it's something to keep a note of, I suppose. The tech in terms of its weathering looks a little bit more heavy-handed in some spots, and then super clean in others, so it stands out a bit more. Whereas you can see here, it's like it's sprayed, the paint's chipping off, whereas here it's just silver patches. Something to keep a note of. This won't be a lot to some people, but the seam lines on the old helmet being right across the middle there was absolutely diabolical to me. And I think it's still there on the new figure, but it's a lot more apparent on how they've painted the helmet in this one. So it's a lot more apparent on the old one. I will say the different painting, how many times am I going to say I will say? The different helmet paint styles, the more gunmetal on the older figure is, I don't want to say more realistic looking, but I think they've tried to go for a chromier vibe on the old one. It almost feels more artistic, whereas the other one tries to feel like it's going for a more realistic take. I imagine it's just going to depend on your preferences on which one you prefer. I like both, so I'm glad I have both. But I think I prefer the styling of the old one, but if you give us the body molds, the new accessories, if you blend the two together, you'd get a pretty vibe. With super soft accessories and super soft hands, it's going to be easy to apply and easy put them in and out of their ports and stuff. But I will say some of the hand peg joints are a little stiff, so keep that in mind when you're swapping out the stabby hand for the shooty hands. But the actual hands themselves, they are quite pliable. They bend quite nicely, so you don't need to worry about heating the hands up themselves, put the guns in and all the fun stuff. But actually popping the hands out, it sounds like you're breaking his wrists, and it's horrifying. It does make me go, ah! But when they're on, you're like, yay! I'm a grown-ass man. Now, for some of you Durasteel Pagodon first versions of Mando, I've got a quick few comparisons. We have our Mudhorn mangled Mando, who I've done quite a lot of custom work on, because I got bored. Your new bad boy that you can buy right now, and the V1, I've taken off the custom cape just so you can see him a bit clearer. And although the paint's very different in the new sculpting versions on this, I still say this is the absolute best of the three. Don't get me wrong, I would love I am the person who buys the ridiculous versions like this. I would love, with all the new parts of this, with some of the sculpting in it, I want another one of these. I think they all look great though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna force you and go, this is your most needed figure. You absolutely need this bad boy. If you like the Beskar look, just stick with that one. If you are happy with your old one, sound, all the power to you. I'm just glad that I do have it, and it's not just the Mandalorian Grogu hype. If you've ever seen this channel, you know I'm a bit of a Mando fanatic. Even hidden behind all the Deadpool and Wolverine stuff, Mando's always there, and I love this figure. It needs more accessories. I don't understand how we have a blaster and a hand and a knife, and that's it. It's crazy to me. This is like a mainline character, and that's what he comes with. But don't get me wrong, the accessories that we do come with are a great sign. I love that we are getting the teeny weeny knife hand, the vibroblade hand. It's an important part, and I'm glad it's a good step in the right direction. But there's also some side steps which I'm very confused on. And for some memes, here he is with George and some V1 Beskar Mandos. This is kind of like an era of like the 2019 Black Series line. Just all on your screen right here. Now, the jetpacks on these are very grey. But I'm not gonna lie, I also loved how these looked. I have done many 1,000 of photos with these figures all on screen here. And it's nice that we're updating them. But as you can see, they did make quite a few, and I'm not even showing all of them. I've got a crap ton of Credit Collection Mandos, especially from this version, they did a few. But the thing is, tell you what, one second, I'll show you. The way I display my Black Series at the moment is a little scuffed in terms of how I actually get to my figures. Like, let's say if I want to get a Kid Fisto, we've got to go through hundreds of them. And I'm not going to lie, I can't actually find some of my Credit Collection Mandos. I'm trying to really quickly... I'm trying to look... Like, you can see Credit Collection Death Trooper over there. But I unironically can't see him, which is horrifying. There's a Boba Fett cameo there, though. There's one of them. I have more, though. But yeah, it's a little hectic for my legally blind eyes to try and find figures sometimes. Because I do just have that many of them. They do kind of just get yeah, they just kind of get lost. It's like there's some up back. Like I forgot I had a whole lot of Elite Squad Troopers and stuff. It's just yeah. So here you go. And this isn't even all of them. That's the scary part. Yeah. But look, that's it's going right there, baby. Also, while we're here, I just think this is a super sick aesthetic. And I don't know if we're ever going to see a painted Din if they're going to add blue. But like just a Mando with like spray painted aesthetic like that. Like him and Sabine. I just love how that looks. So I love this figure. So that's why I have him kind of like out next to my Bulbas. Because I just think it looks cool. Now don't get me wrong. I love this figure. And it's going to be an absolute banger. But this is not the figure we're here for, is it, ladies and gentlemen? We are here for the Mandalorian and Grogu. So let me introduce to you the goddamn new one. Ah! Corporate wants to ask you to find the difference between the Gravis Ringworld Mandalorian and the Mandalorian and Grogu Mandalorian. And to be perfectly honest, one's brighter in some areas, one's darker in some areas. The blue boy is the old one, the V2, and the one on the left with the more browny brown, the chocolatey brown, is the V3, the film Mando. I'm not gonna lie, the blue's a little distracting. It pops quite a lot. Now it is accurate, but I kind of like the grayer blue on the left. Although I was literally complaining that it makes the figure more homogeneous on the weathered one, this one here I kind of prefer it. What I love is they finally gave him a shiny, chromed out jetpack. It's not like the grey ones we see here. I mean, on this light with the high key lighting, it looks a little bit shinier in real life, but it's actually super, super dull. That was the V2 Ringworld one, but it's not like, if you want just straight up, like, that's just grey, dark grey plastic, like, that's even worse. Whereas this one, it's proper shiny, like, it is super duper shiny. Comparing those is wild. But also, scratching this figure is probably going to be a bane of everybody's existence, because I imagine the paint isn't the strongest. Honestly, one of the cutest additions they've ever added is the fact that you can have Grogu sit on Din's back, and it like ports in. It slips under his like back chest piece, and it looks great. It looks like he's holding on to Din, and although you don't get a stoic, standing still Grogu, I think for the way people will actually display this type of figure, it works perfectly. And if you want, they still make that thing. This was like a Disney Store exclusive I found, but over the years they've made like 50 different types of Grogu. I've used this 1,000,000,001 times for photography, that's why the box is mangled. But yeah, they've made so many different Grogus. This is the first one they've made where he's like actionable in terms of the fact you can basically stick him to Gru. You can you can stick him to his girls. No, you can stick Grogu to Din, and I think it looks great. I love it. Now, I imagine for other figures like Hot Toys, SH Figure Arts, you could do like magnets for Black Series for how cheap it is, but also like how small these figures are. I imagine it's a bit harder, but like, yeah, for Hot Toys, you could probably put magnets on them, on like a Grogu like this, and have the same effect, which would be a really cool addition. But yeah, on its own, that is like hilariously weird. It's like he's doing a force kick, like a yeah. You could probably just throw this thing about and be like, yeah, he's doing force moves. But yeah, on its own, he's doing like a American football, like hut 1, hut 2, hut... Ah! So I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, getting this part out of the figure, I actually pooed myself because I thought I'd broke the scope off. But then I realised that, oh my word, we are getting something we haven't seen in a while. Doing this on camera sucks. But long story short, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually take that off so he uses it as a telescope like he does in the show. Now, is it on the wrong rifle? Yes, but does he do this in the show or film? Mayhaps. I'm going to have to do this off camera, I'm too blind for this. But yeah, I wasn't kidding. You can take the scope off and you can use it as a telescope just like how he does in the first few episodes of the show. You can use this part on anything else. I think that's so sick. I love that so much. Just detail. Now, once you get the full ensemble outside of the packaging and get him with all of his accessories out, this figure is where the budget went when it came to the Mandalorian figures. The reason why we don't have an amp and phase rifle on the new Durasteel Mando is because we got a rifle with this one, we got a Grogu with this one, we got a sword, we got a Gladius. Why not? I think it looks sick. I don't know how this is going to play into the film at all. I don't know if this is going to be what he uses when he's being a gladiator, swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. I think it looks sick. And all the extra chrome pieces, all the little extra additions and tidbits I love on this figure. The fact he has a detachable scope, awesome. I love it. I think this... I understand where the budget went, and it makes me so happy to see it. Now, for the layman, this is kind of the evolution of the Black Series Mandalorian in terms of Beskar. The one on the far left is the one they made for the show, the V1. He had a plastic cape, so when you wanted to use the jetpack that had no metallic chrome on it, you'd have to swap them out. Yeah, it certainly looked like an attempt. I still like the figure. Now, the one in the middle is the Ringworld Mandalorian from the Book of Boba Fett. This was kind of like their V2. It came with a soft goods, drape cape. It came with the whole shebang. I can't remember if it came with a Darksaber. I don't know if it did or not. If it did, awesome. I think it did. I can't remember. I do have a Darksaber in over there somewhere. But I can't remember if it came with Moff Gideon or if it came with Darth Maul. How did I forget his name? Or if it, I think it came with... I can't remember my own reviews, ladies and gentlemen. And then on the far right, we have Din and Grogu from the Mandalorian and Grogu. Now this looks like a perfect evolution in terms of figure and costume design. We can see where they're trying to like change things up here with the accented blue, where they're trying to evolve the character, and then this just feels like it's a perfect blend of like everything we liked about Season 1 and Season 2 of Mando with the new additions. So he's got some... People are going to see it like backtracking. I kind of see it as just evolving and like going back to what you like. And I love this new rifle. I love the amp and phase rifle, and on the Hot Toys you get both. So I wonder how that's going to work. Isn't it like an attachment? Does he just have an amber phase rifle again? Awesome. If so, I'm easy to please, and these figures have certainly pleased me. But the slight addition of just adding Grogu on top there, just it adds so much to me. And yeah, I definitely think in terms of Beskar Mando, the Mandalorian and Grogu one is probably the best one to go for. The extra additions are perfect. If you want to use this as your like everyday Mandalorian, in terms of, if not just for the films, this is probably the perfect way to go. But you'd probably need an amber phase rifle, but they're on like every other Mandalorian figure, so you could probably buy them like super cheap off eBay, or you could just buy one of these figures here and they'll just give you it. Works that way. Actually, I can't remember if you came with one. I don't think you did. I'm losing my mind here, ladies and gentlemen. It's so much Mandalorian, and I've got so many just like extra parts and pieces, and that's kind of what's happening. I don't think I'm going to ask why the new rifle has an eye relief metal pad on the scope when he wears a full-on Beskar helmet. I'm not going to question it, but yeah, that is a thing that exists. So kind of like the Ringworld Mandalorian and the new way they do the Black Series figures, the shoulder pads and the knee pads work a little bit differently how they used to. They're not just like glued on. They have like these rings on the inside that attach to the joints so that they rotate freely, but also that they can move out the way, which is really nice. But for the knee pads here, well, there's only one knee pad. There's a little, it's literally just, it's free floating. So you can move the joint how you wish, and you can rotate the bad boy out the way. And I think that's probably the best system for a character like this, for a figure like this, in like clone troopers and stormtroopers. So you get the best articulation from them, but they also still look cinematic. They still look like a part of what they're supposed to look like, which is, you know, troopers with armor on, or like a warrior with armor on, and it looks fun. It looks exciting. It looks, the silhouette matches. The shoulder pauldrons actually like stick out. They're not just like glued to the body. So they actually have like definition. He looks like he's on roids, baby. He looks strong. I like. Also, it's not lost on me an extra nod to Boba Fett that there's like metal greeblies inside a wooden stock. It's very reminiscent of Boba Fett designs and how his rifle looks. You're stealing more from Boba again, Din. I love it. It's still more accented into Star Wars, but yeah, that's also something to keep of note. Just art design, I suppose. Now, there isn't a peg pod for this per se, but you can have it slung on his back, so it's reminiscent of the amber phase rifle, but it kind of just ports in the same spot where you would put Grogu, in the fact that there's like a little divot in his back. It's not like the other figures where he has like a slot for the phase rifle. I will show with the Pagodon Mando. It's not like this, where there's like a peg, a vertical peg here. There is just like a gap in his back where you can like slot stuff. So you can kind of make do with what you want. But he does have like a peg sticking out here, which although looks like it's got design on it, so it almost looks like a mag, which I don't think it is because the mag's there. There's like stuff on it, you know. I'm getting the feeling that this actually is the mag, although this looks like a Ruger 22 style rifle, with where like next to the mag, like that would be the mag usually. Potentially, I could be wrong. I do like firearms, but like I don't know too much. I'm assuming this is. That could be a mag, that could be a peg pot, it doesn't matter. It's your figure, do what you want with it. I'm going to probably use it as both. So I'm assuming that the articulation will be similar for this figure, how it will be for most Mandalorians, which is to say not too bad actually. So we're going to give it a quick go. Now, upwards you can kind of see the internal face there. It's not a take-off helmet, it's just that's used to like structure the actual helmet. It's a Black Series figure, you know what you're getting. These go around fully. When you rotate the arms, definitely take these with you. Just one, protect the joint on the inside, a little plastic ring, but also just so it doesn't look like he's falling off himself, you know. Now, what's interesting here is, although it's fully sculpted upwards, you can still get some range of motion, but just because of how everything's designed, it kind of wants to lean more that way rather than this way. So basically he looks like he's got like a little bit of scoliosis, bless him, just because of how the body's designed and how everything's like kind of wanting to like pull it this way. So probably when I imagine as this figure gets older, it's going to start to go wee, but we'll keep that in mind. Now, he does actually move quite well for somebody who's got like multiple layers of stuff, like his flight suit and everything gets in the way. But he does move quite well. Now, 90-ish? The like articulation on this figure seems to be, although it looks a teeny bit more seamless, it still moves quite nicely. So I will say this figure feels a teeny bit gummy, which is quite bizarre. It's a bit soft, but like the articulation, it still like works. I can't describe. I can't put my finger on, but it feels a little gummy. Now, overall, I would say these are absolutely incredible figures. These are really fun, but I wouldn't say these are like die hard. Absolutely, go get them if you like need them. They are great additions, but both of them still have flaws. I would say some of the painting could be better on the Durasteel Mando, and it definitely needs some more accessories, as in, give me that phase rifle, baby. Where hashtag bring back the phase rifle. But the extra additions that are on the Mandalorian and Grogu, I would say that is a must. I love this figure so much, and the accessories are really fun. New additions, new fun stuff. I hope we get like the season 3 accessories. I don't know if they exist already. It's good stuff. It's good soup, and it gets me excited for the film, which at the end of the day, stuff like this is supposed to, like, that's literally what this is here for. If you like the film, you buy the toys, and also if you like the toys, you go see the film. It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship of capitalism, and that's vile, but it's probably the right way to look. Although both are mainline looks for Mando, I think more people are definitely going to pick up the Mandalorian and Grogu figure. 1, because he has his own film, but 2, the Beskar look, it lasts more. It's iconic, but I love both looks. Now, my favourite version of the Pagodon, however you want to say it, Pagodon, first appearance Mando, is probably my hot toys now. Like, that's just a given, let's be perfectly honest. But I'm gonna shoot with this probably a lot more, just because it's gonna be easier, and I've got a lot more dioramas for Black Series than I do anything else. So I'm probably gonna shoot with it a hell of a lot more.